Lena, we got some insight today on why and when the mayor's proposal for that $1 rideshare tax changed. Council members getting to ask some questions today of the administration. It will be council members who get to decide what happens next on that proposal. In council chambers, administration officials addressing the rideshare tax Mayor Parker is proposing to help the school district address a structural deficit.
We by no means were implementing this tax, trying to put it on the individual worker. These multi-million-dollar companies could certainly absorb this tax.
Some talk today of who will pay the tax, which the administration has said the companies can absorb. But Uber insists will be passed on to riders. If approved, that would mean starting in January, each ride would cost an extra $1.
Kind of crazy because I think it's kind of becoming more expensive anyway, so the additional dollar doesn't really make any sense in my opinion.
We met these Temple students outside City Hall.
And it's also not good for us college students because, we don't really have a lot of money coming in.
The money would go to schools, raising $48 million rather than the $9.6 million per year that the mayor's original 20-cent proposal would have raised. Today, we learned more about how and when the change came about.
Right after the mayor's budget address and others was when the conversation was really had.
That's how I was trying to get.
That evening, we learned that the deficit was actually much bigger than what was originally reported.
Council members and administration officials today talked about whether out-of-the-box thinking could help blunt the impact on riders who use rideshare regularly for things like work and school.
I just want to make sure that when we're doing this and we're adding another tax, that somehow we think it's not going to affect low-income people. And just one neighbor across the street from me showed me how it's going to affect him big time.
Just outside City Council chambers, I talked to the Education Committee Chair Isaiah Thomas, who says he appreciates the intentionality of the tax and the larger impact of the revised proposal.
If you're going to do it, you want to do it big. If you're not going to do it big, then don't do it at all.
Do you think that big has to be the $1?
I'm not necessarily saying it needs to be $1. Again, that's like the economic impact, because I want to be clear, I'm not saying that we necessarily have to do it. I think that it's important that we all do our due diligence and look at where we are as it relates to the current budget, what we can anticipate from Harrisburg, as well as recognizing the uncertainty as it relates to revenue and support coming out of D.C.
And to give you some perspective on what we've seen before, these things can change. Back during the Kenney administration, when the soda tax was proposed, it was originally proposed as a 3-cent per ounce tax. It ended up as 1.5 cents. Live in Center City, I'm Mayk, NBC 10 News.